to the 2004 edition of the CPAC Award Gala, organized by the Education Foundation of Chinese Professionals Association of Canada.
各位嘉宾，晚上好！欢迎光临由 CPAC 教育基金会主办的 CPAC 教育基金颁奖慈善晚宴。
The opening performance by the Li Du Si dance group was only a hint of what's to come this evening. Throughout the night, we will have plenty of prizes for you to take home, including airline tickets to much warmer places than here in Toronto, especially on a day like today. We also have a wonderful tribute artist who not only looks but sounds exactly like one of Canada's greatest exports. No, not Wayne Gretzky. It's the girl from Timmins, Ontario, Shania Twain.
Of course, let's not forget the main reason why we're here tonight. Tonight, a number of scholarships and awards will be presented to exceptional young people who are not only outstanding students, but also demonstrated excellent leadership and dedication through their community involvement.
As many of you know, these scholarships and awards are established by the Education Foundation of CPAC. To give us an official welcome, please welcome the chair of the foundation, Mr. Lawrence Yu.
有请 CPAC 教育基金会主席雨露先生。
My heartfelt gratitude goes to the generous donors to the CPAC Education Fund and the sponsors of tonight's event. I would also like to thank each and every one of you for attending this evening's award gala in support of this worthy cause. It is only with your support that we are able to help complete a good thing. The year 2004 has been an eventful year for CPAC. Our service have expanded significantly in order to accommodate the growing demand. In October, the Education Foundation was granted charitable status. With the recognition by the government, we are hoping to garner even greater support from individuals and corporations so that more students can be rewarded for their outstanding academic achievements and exceptional community leadership. It takes the hard work of many tireless volunteers and staff to make the event like this happen. My compliments go to everyone who has helped create this successful and exciting evening. A special thank you is also extended to our Education Foundation trustees for their time and diligence in selecting the scholarship and award recipients. Thank you again for your support of CPAC, and I wish you all a peaceful and a safe holiday season. Thank you.
As presenting sponsor, please welcome the member of the Board of Directors, TD Manoj Monex, Mr. Raymond DeCarry.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CPAC Award Gala 2004. I'm delighted to represent the Gala's presenting sponsor, TD Canada Trust, in conveying our appreciation for such an excellent display of support from all of you, our honored guests, patrons, and sponsors. When it comes to community participation, TD Canada Trust places tremendous emphasis on three fundamental elements of a bright future: children's health, children's education and literacy, and the environment. The advancement of our society depends on our efforts to nurture and encourage today's young people. At TD Canada Trust, we make it our responsibility to help complete a good thing. I would like to commend the Chinese Professionals Association of Canada for demonstrating a remarkable dedication to the Chinese community in Canada. What began over a decade ago as an organization that helps professional immigrants, CPAC has extended its services to the youth sector by establishing this charitable education foundation. Its track record and its impact are unmistakable. TD Canada Trust is proud to call CPAC a partner. Lastly, an event like this doesn't happen on its own. I would like to extend a special thank you to the staff and volunteers for their tireless efforts in putting together a great evening, one that may have a few twists and turns when it's all said and done. As I recall from last year, one minute I was sitting at my table minding my own business, and the next minute I was on the dance floor in a baby blue jumpsuit, wearing a big wig with sideburns, and moving to Elvis Presley's blue suede shoes. Well, it'll be fun night tonight. So to all of you, have a wonderful time, and thank you again for your support. And finally, a sincere wish to everyone for a safe and peaceful holiday season. Thank you.
The Honourable Marianne Chambers, Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities, and her husband Chris Chambers.
Mr. Bob Wong, former Ontario Minister of Energy and advisor to CPAC, and his wife Alice.
The Honourable John McCollum, Minister of National Revenue, and his wife Nancy.
Toronto Chinese Canadian Organizations and advisor to CPAC.
Madam Chen Xiaoling, Consul General of the People's Republic of China in Toronto.
Mr. Tony Wong, MPP for Markham and Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Economic Development and Trade.
Mr. David Poon, advisor to CPAC.
Mr. Stanley Kwan, Trustee Education Foundation of CPAC. Jim Karajanis, Member of Parliament for Scarborough, Agincourt, and Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport.
Mr. Richard Lim, Vice President, Affinity Market Group, TD Melange Monix, and his wife Gala. Mr. Lim is also a trustee of the Education Foundation of CPAC.
Mr. Derek Lee, Member of Parliament for Scarborough, Rouge River. Mr. Robert Lai, Trustee Education Foundation of CPAC.
Mr. David Simmer, MPP for Willowdale and Parliamentary Assistant to the Attorney General. Somewhere in transit. They will be here.
Mr. Raymond DeCarry, Member of Board of Directors, TD Melange Monex, and his wife Louise. Please welcome the Minister of Human Resources and Skills Development, the Honorable Joseph Opel.
Go away, Jabin Rajahao. Madam Consul General, my colleagues from the House of Commons, the Honourable John McCallum, my colleague who's responsible for that registered charity number that you got, my colleagues Derek Lee and Jim Karajanis, and Raymond, who's not here yet, but he will be here. My colleagues at the provincial level, I want to thank you very much for that kind applause. I know that this organization is doing wonderful work. I know that because they've been involved in a variety of other associations and networks around the city in particular that are dedicated to giving all of those who value education, who value skills, and who value the networking that brings people together for the purposes of being productive, competitive, but as well of engaging a dignified and productive, personally satisfying work. These are people who have begun to work through other organizations in the larger mainstream in effecting, putting together those avenues which will make it possible for governments like our own to be able to deliver on a very large promise. That very large promise is to give each and every Canadian the opportunity not only to develop life skills, to develop a vocation through education and learning, but also to be able to find that work that is necessary to put that practice in, that learning into practice. I know that the CPAC has already started to work with organizations in the Toronto area in mentoring, in giving life experience, to give work experience, that first Canadian work experience, not only to our young men and women who have received their training here in Canada, but to those of our neighbors who have learned those skills in other places and who bring them to Canada with the purpose of making them as functional as they would expect to be were they to be in their homeland. This now being their homeland. It behooves us all to work to integrate, whether it be through language training, specific language training, through work experience, through the networking and mentoring that CPAC provides. And give everybody an opportunity to reach up to that Canadian dream and make it realizable for themselves. Because in so doing, they allow us, the members of Parliament that I just mentioned, give us an opportunity to deliver on the very large promise to Canadians, and that is to make the dream a reality. So I thank each and every one of you for engaging your talents, engaging your services, and engaging your network and your organization to that very important, very necessary element of civic engagement and civic responsibility. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to thank you once again. I want to wish you every success in the future, and I want to congratulate on their behalf and on behalf of the Right Honourable the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Paul Martin, a very special congratulations to the award winners this evening. Thank you very much.
Please welcome the Minister of National Revenue, the Honourable John McCallum.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I won't repeat the words of my colleague Joe Volpe in English or in Chinese. Let me just say that as a longtime friend of CPAC since I entered politics in the year 2000, I congratulate you on your growth. You now number 19,000 members, and you know, I think that if we look forward a few years, that the immigrant population will be more than 100% of the labor force growth in this country, largely because Canadians are having fewer babies. And so your work to integrate Chinese people, both here and from China, into the workforce is important for your members, clearly, but it's extremely important for the country that we work together, because it is the immigrants who are our future workforce. So I congratulate you on this fundamental work of yours. I congratulate the winners of the scholarships and the organization for establishing this education foundation. I congratulate as well all of those who have worked very hard to make this dinner possible. So many thanks to you all, and I look forward to coming back to many CPAC dinners in years to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the Consul General of the People's Republic of China in Toronto, Madam Chen Xiaolin.
有请中华人民共和国驻多伦多总领事馆总领事陈晓玲
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please excuse me not mentioning everyone's name or the dignitaries. But I do want to say that seeing so many old friends and dignitaries from 3 level governments of Canada, and see so many friends from different banks and different companies, different enterprises, and different communities, people here, I do feel very, very much impressed of CPAC. And also, I also feel very much proud of CPAC. So, allow me, on behalf of the Chinese Consulate in general in Toronto, give my warm congratulations and appreciation. CPAC is so popular here, not only in the Chinese community in Toronto, but you can see from tonight, from everywhere in Toronto, CPAC is also outstanding and popular community in the mainstream society here in Canada. I and my colleagues, many times we take part in the organizing some of the functions by CPAC. Every time I'm also very much impressed. I remember that I attended a drawing competition by the Chinese children from Canada. I remember that we also attended some of the functions which recommending and competition among the singers from the Chinese community. And this evening, the theme is certainly a wonderful theme. It's also a meaningful topic, a meaningful project. It is about education. I'm glad that the Minister of Education or Minister of Colleges are here. She's also my good friend, good friend. And really, education is not concerned, it's not really taken importance of by the parents, by the community. But you see that all the society here attaches importance to education. In China, we say education is everything. In China, also say that 科教兴国, that's the Chinese term. So I'm glad that CPAC is taking advantage of their professional knowledges. It's taking advantage by making use of their knowledge to spread and to carry on good tradition of China, the good tradition of Chinese nation here in Canada. I'm glad that the ministers, you mentioned that the Chinese community, they make their home, they make their place a home to live in. So my congratulations and appreciation to CPAC. Wish that CPAC in the year to come that you're making greater progress, not in next year and the year to come for more and more achievements. 各位朋友，我想简单的就是说，非常高兴参加今天晚上的聚会。我代表中国驻多伦多总领事馆向CPAC今年以来所取得的成就，你们在加拿大所取得的这么杰出的这种成果，表示我们最热烈的祝贺。今天晚上教育基金会给10位获奖人士颁奖，我想呢，这不光是代表了我们中国这个在这里的各个华人社团的这种心声，也受到了广大加拿大各界朋友的热烈的欢迎。正因为你们把心血放到了教育上，正因为你们把你的才华在加拿大发扬光大，正因为你们发扬了中华民族的优良传统，把加拿大和中国这种文化、这种传统、这种友好的情谊连接得越来越密切。所以在这里，作为中国驻多伦多总领事，我热烈的祝贺你们，也祝愿你们CPAC和各位朋友在未来的岁月当中取得更大的成绩。Everyone says that Christmas season is coming, so allow me to take this opportunity to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. It's too early to say that, but the popular word will say, wish everyone have a good time in the Christmas season. 谢谢大家 Thanks.
The Honourable Marianne Chambers, Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thought the evening started so well. I go to so many events, and it's quite often very difficult to get people settled down or to their tables. And I thought it was a wonderful idea for you to bring those beautiful little girls, who I consider your youngest professionals, here tonight. When I see young people involved in organizations, I know that those organizations are going to be very strong and last a very long time. So congratulations on your wisdom. I'm really pleased to have been invited to participate in this evening's event, and particularly because of your awards presentation. I want to thank you for what you're doing to help young people continue their education. I am told that since the year 2000, your association has been giving scholarships to high school and to university students to help them pursue their goals. I'm very, very pleased to be here this evening to celebrate your 2004 recipients. You know, our province is so well favored by its location, close both to resources and to arguably the world's largest consumer market. Most importantly, Ontario is so very well served by its people. And the Premier believes, and I agree, that our province's greatest asset and competitive advantage is our wonderful people. Our population is among the most highly educated in the world, and we want to work with associations like yours to build on the skills, learning, and insight of all our people to ensure we have a competitive economy and a high quality of life for all Ontarians. So by working together, we can ensure Ontario remains a wonderful place to live, work, and prosper for years to come. The 21st century will experience increased levels of competitiveness, and we can no longer be satisfied with dominating regional or national markets. Today, we are competing with the world's best on a global stage. One factor making a major impact on the growth of Ontario's workforce is the arrival of professionals who have received their education and training in other countries and then immigrated to Canada. In fact, most of the immigrants who come to Canada come with some post-secondary education or training. And the ratio of foreign-born people in Ontario's population is higher than that in any other province or territory in Canada. This gives our province a remarkable competitive advantage. Most immigrants of working age have just exactly the kinds of skills we need here. And they bring with them first-hand experience of countries that are not only potential clients, but also potential rivals in today's global marketplace. By the next decade, a large and growing majority, as Minister McCallum said, of our labour force growth will result from immigration. And that's a very significant projection and one that requires us to reevaluate how we integrate new immigrants into our workforce. So we know, our government knows, that we must ensure that these skills do not go to waste. It's a priority that our government is taking very, very seriously. We're assisting prospective immigrants and the internationally trained by providing information online about Ontario's labour market needs and the criteria for becoming a licensed practice in their occupations in our province. And one of the reasons why it's so important to provide that information online is because then people can access it even before they leave their home countries. We're also providing occupation-specific language training and creating rich training programs that allow the internationally educated to upgrade their skills as required. We're funding the creation of an Ontario-wide academic credential assessment service, and we are sponsoring mentoring and internship programs that allow the internationally educated to gain critical Canadian work experience. In January, I'll be releasing Ontario's first report on the progress we have made in tearing down the barriers that the internationally educated face. While I'm confident that the report will show significant progress, I recognize that more can and must be done. In closing, I want to emphasize that government cannot do this alone. We must work in partnership with cultural groups and employers and regulators to open the doors to the internationally trained. The work that your association is doing to recognize young people who have both excelled academically and also given back to their communities through volunteer efforts is an excellent example of how we can work together. I encourage you to do the same for internationally trained individuals. You know the benefits that can be gained by having a workforce familiar with business practices in other cultures. You know that knowledge is a competitive advantage in the global marketplace. So I welcome your efforts as members of your association assist new immigrants by providing them with mentorship and with opportunities to gain Canadian work experience. Just before I leave the microphone, I'd like to thank my colleague David Zimmer, who may or may not have arrived by this, for the information fair. David is the member of Provincial Parliament for Willowdale, and he hosted an information fair which I gather was of great benefit to your community. I also want to recognize my colleague Tony Wong, who is the member of Provincial Parliament for Markham. Both David and Tony work very, very hard on behalf of their constituents. And I also want to recognize my federal colleagues who are here and who I know are doing wonderful jobs on behalf of the people of Ontario. So together we can build an Ontario that's the envy of the world, with indeed a quality of life that's second to none. Thank you, and again, congratulations to the scholarship recipients.
Please welcome the MP for Scarborough Agincourt and the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport, the Honourable Jim Karagianis.
I tell you, those lines are gliding. Ni hao. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be with you. As I guess the host of the politicians tonight, I want to welcome my colleagues in Scarborough Agincourt, and it's indeed a pleasure to have you here tonight. And notice that we have two powerful ministers with us. Minister Volpe, may I ask of you, sir, to join me and Minister McCollum as well as Derek Lee, because I'd like to make a presentation. Lawrence and Thomas, if you can also join us, love to have you up here. And do bring your pens, ministers. You see, I know tonight they cannot deliver in signing a check. Now, Joe has told me that he wants nothing else but to make sure that this association, as well as other associations located in Scarborough Agincourt, each of them receives $5 million. They're not getting up. Mr. Volpe, Mr. McCollum, do come up on stage. Bring your pens. Derek, will you please join us also? And Lawrence and Thomas? And listen, I'm not going to ask them to sign a commitment for any checks. Far be it from it. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one thing that we have in Canada that we treasure dearly. And that is, and we value, is the sense that we all belong and the sense that we're equal. And that's enshrined in law. And that's enshrined in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And I'm glad you got your pen ready, Minister. Before I came, I approached the Prime Minister and I said, I'm going to an organization which is close and dear to my heart. And he said, what do you want from me? I said, I want you to sign the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But the good thing is that it's in Chinese. For those immigrants that are coming to this country, and for people, and I mean the immigrants, our parents, that cannot understand the English language, like my mother. She doesn't speak a word of English. So to her, And to all of our parents that are coming here and bringing us along, I've got the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, signed by the Prime Minister, and I'm going to ask the ministers, as well as my colleagues, to put their John Henry on here. Now, Joe, you realize, when you sign on here, there's no commitment for $5 million. But if you want to make that commitment, we'd love to have it. And Minister, if you want to get some, like give them a break on not having to pay tax, I'm sure they will appreciate it.
I bring the greetings of John McCallum brings the money.
Thomas, Lawrence, from all of us to you, we promise to do our best to make sure that we are there to deliver the services that the community needs. And trust me, being one that lives in the community indeed is something that you really need.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Consul General Madam Chan, Chair Lawrence Yu, President Thomas Chu, Provincial Minister Mary Ann, and ladies and gentlemen and members of the association. First of all, I would like to apologize for being late. I got held up in another meeting, and I really feel sorry. I should be here by 7, but except that the order has been switched, not without our control. But I'm so very pleased to see that so many of you are here, and that to see the Chinese Professional Association to come out with such a great event to contribute to the society. I would like also to take this opportunity to share some thoughts with you about the multicultural program of Canada. Many of you might think that multiculturalism is to do with a lot of social events or performances, cultural events, and so on. But yes, we do promote a lot of cross-cultural understandings and make sure that multiculturalism could survive and thrive in Canada. But the most important task of the ministry is to make sure that all Canadians, no matter where they're from, can participate fully in the Canadian society, both socially, economically, and also politically. That no one is left behind. No one in Canada is marginalized. In dealing with the latest immigrants, one of the biggest issues is foreign credential accreditation, job integration. In the 60s and 70s, when the policy of multiculturalism was first conceived, we were dealing with the integration of the non-visible minorities like the Jewish community, the Italians, the Germans, the Ukrainians, and so on, and they did really well. But once we get into the 90s and the 2000s, we've been dealing with the integration of the visible minorities. But with that community, I'm so sorry to say that the integration process is not as successful as we want it to be. And it's important that for Canada to become stronger country, that we've got to do something about it. And in order to achieve that, we'll probably need all of your help. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity in my first official visit to Toronto, first to congratulate you for your success, to participate in the Canadian society, to be so successful in Canada, but at the same time, I pledge to have your support and your help to build Canada to be a much stronger country than today. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoy your evening, and looking forward to share your thoughts, looking forward to share your ideas, such that we can all progress together. Thank you very much.